Have you ever looked around and wondered, why is it that the people doing the least often seem to have the most? Why the loudest ones get heard, the manipulators get promoted, and the genuine ones get left behind? You probably told yourself, it's fine. Hard work pays off eventually. But deep down, you know, it doesn't always. Because the system isn't built to reward what's right, it rewards what's useful. And usefulness doesn't always align with goodness. In this video, we'll break down how the system rewards the wrong people, not because it's broken, but because it's working exactly as designed. Chapter 1: The Visibility Bias. Why Loud Beats Good. The system doesn't reward value, it rewards visibility. You could be the most skilled person in the room, but if no one sees you, you don't exist in the marketplace. Meanwhile, the person with half your substance, but twice your confidence, gets the spotlight, the promotion, the funding, the followers. That's not an accident. It's how attention economics works. The system values signal over substance because signal drives traffic, money, and movement. Think about it. Social media doesn't care who's wise, it cares who's watchable. Corporations don't reward depth, they reward visibility, influence, and predictability. The illusion is, good work speaks for itself. The truth is, in a noisy world, silence gets you buried. If you want to play this game differently, you don't have to become fake, but you must learn to be seen without losing yourself. Because if you stay invisible, the system assumes you don't exist. Chapter 2: The Compliance Reward. Why the obedient get promoted. Here's a hard truth. The system doesn't reward the smartest thinkers. It rewards the smoothest followers. From school to corporate life, you were trained to please authority, not challenge it. To get approval, not autonomy. That's why the people who rise fastest aren't necessarily the most capable. They're the most compliant. The ones who question too much get labeled difficult. The ones who adapt quietly get called team players. And when the time comes to promote, the system chooses predictability over potential every single time. The illusion is, play nice and you'll rise. The truth is, play nice long enough and you'll disappear. Because systems prefer control over creativity, and control is easiest when people stop thinking for themselves. To rise above that, you need to learn when to comply and when to quietly opt out. Chapter 3: The Optics Game. Why Perception Outruns Reality. We live in a world that rewards how things look more than how things are. The system runs on metrics, image, and public narrative, and people who master that narrative can win, even if they lack integrity. You've seen it. Companies painting over toxic culture with values campaigns. Influencers selling fake lifestyles they don't live. Leaders posting empathy online while exploiting quietly behind closed doors. It's not hypocrisy, it's strategy. Because the system pays attention to perception performance. The illusion is, the truth always wins. The truth is, the story wins first, truth catches up later, if ever. That's why marketing beats mastery, why appearances beat authenticity. Because attention is the currency that prints all others. So instead of rejecting optics, learn to master them ethically. Use perception to direct people towards something real. Because the world's already run by those who manipulate it, you might as well use it to awaken, not deceive. Chapter 4: The Moral Handicap. Why Good People Lose Energy. The wrong people often win because the right people are too busy questioning themselves. The empathetic, the humble, the self-aware, they overthink every move. They fear being seen as greedy or ambitious or too much. Meanwhile, the opportunists move fast, not because they're smarter, but because they carry no moral weight. The illusion is, goodness alone will protect you. The truth is, goodness without boundaries becomes exhaustion. The system takes advantage of people who mistake virtue for passivity. It praises selflessness because selfless people don't ask for more. They work harder for less and call it purpose. If that's you, you don't need to become ruthless, you just need to become whole. Kindness and clarity can coexist. Empathy doesn't mean letting yourself be drained. Chapter 5: The System's Design: Why It's Working Exactly as Planned. The system isn't broken. It's working perfectly, just not for you. It was built to maintain balance, not fairness. To keep production steady, not justice flowing. To ensure enough people stay striving while a few keep controlling. That's why the system rewards the wrong people, because the wrong people keep it stable. They maintain the illusion of progress. They distract, entertain, and consume. They make sure the machine keeps running. The illusion is the game is fair if you play right. The truth is the game was never meant to be fair, it was meant to be functional. But here's the part they don't tell you. Once you see how it works, you're no longer bound by it. When you stop trying to win inside the design, you start creating your own. You don't fix the system by fighting it head on. You outgrow it through self awareness, ownership, and leverage. Final truth. So let's recap. The system rewards visibility over value, compliance over creativity, optics over integrity, ruthlessness over reflection, and control over fairness. But that doesn't mean you're powerless, it means you finally see the rules. Because the moment you stop expecting fairness, you start building freedom. And when you stop waiting to be chosen, you start choosing yourself. The system rewards the wrong people, but only until the right ones learn how to stop playing by its rules. And that's exactly why I created the Money Mirror Playbook. It helps you build wealth, awareness, and freedom outside the system's design. It's a practical guide that connects psychology, money, and strategy so you can stop chasing success the system sells and start building the kind of wealth that actually feels free. You can get the Money Mirror Playbook now on Shopify, link in the description. The mirror never lies. The question is, now that you see it, will you still play the game the same way?